Hello guys, we are back with our next lecture. In this lecture, let us go through the next topic. So in the last lecture, we discussed the concept about the transactions and then we discussed about the transaction states and all those things, right? Yes. So now let us continue with the concurrency, guys. So why do we need this concurrency, guys? So whenever so in reality, only one transaction will execute at a time, guys. No, right? So if you take a small example of an SBI server or any kind of server, there will be multiple requests coming every second or every minute, right? So at that time, all these requests should be completed really, really fast. So that is the reason why these execution will be done concurrently, guys. So most of the students will be thinking like, okay, so it will run parallelly, right? So indirectly they will think in that way. So in this way, like line by line. But that is not the reality, but we'll be understanding exactly what do they mean by this concurrency, guys. Okay, yes. And remember one most important thing I already discussed in operating system, and here also I'll be discussing it. So in operating system, a single CPU can execute only one process at any moment of time, guys. It might be i9, i10, any kind of processor, but it can run only one instruction or one process at any moment of time. Okay, yes, it might be ultra fast, it might switch really fastly, but at any instance of time it can run only one. In the same way, there could be some thousands of transactions. The server might be too fast, but at any moment of time that server will be working only on one transaction. Okay, so then your question will be how you are going to achieve parallelism then. So this transaction switching, so in between these two, the switching will be ultra fast, guys. So due to that, we think that our CPU is working on multiple processes. In the same way, here also we will think that our server is working on multiple transactions at a moment of time. Got it? Yes. So now let us start with the concurrency. So now you understood, right? So what exactly is this concurrency? Okay. So now most of the students will think like, okay, so we understood it. So now what? So the thing with respect to this concurrency is, it is not that much easy to achieve, guys. There will be various problems. That is the reason why, first of all, instead of going in depth in concurrency, first let us discuss those problems only. So the first problem which we will be facing is a lost update problem or a write problem. Guys, this terminology is really important, guys, because in the examination he will give you a transaction like this and he will say whether there is a lost update problem, yes or no. So there could be some true or false statements, he could give this in that way, right? Yes. So for easy understanding, I'll be taking you directly to the example and I'll be explaining you on a rough sheet, guys. Okay? Yes. So let us start. Okay. So let me copy down the example. So we are discussing about a lost update, right? So lost update problem or write problem. Okay. So T1. So wherever we are working with the transaction, so T1 and T2, guys. So these are the two different transactions. Okay. Yes. So first transaction 1 does a read operation on A. So instead of writing the whole word read, I'll be writing using R. Instead of writing the whole word write, I'll be using W. Okay. So even in my book, some places you can find these type of things. Okay. Yes. So read A, write A, and commit. Okay. And commit. Okay. So now this code seems to be really easy, right? So let us take a small example now. Okay. So assume that the value of A is assume that the value of A is 10. So the same book example I am taking, guys, because it will be easy if you read it from my book, right? Yes. Okay. So let us assume the value of A in the database or in the main memory is 10. Okay. So now what the transaction 1 will read, guys? So it will read 10 as the value. Okay. So then it is performing write operation. So assume that T1 wants to update this to 20. So now what it will write? It will write it to 20, right? Yes. Okay, so its writing process is done. Okay, so now T2 came. So T2, instead of reading, it is directly writing. So it doesn't know what is the value in A, but it wants to update it to 101, assume in that way. So it has been updated to 101 and it has been committed. So what is the meaning of commit, guys? It is going to save permanently, right? Yes. So assume that this is your temporary, right? So it is assume it is our main memory and this as your secondary memory. If you have studied the operating system, it will be really easy for you, right? So from your secondary memory, you brought this 10 value here and you started updating it. And once you write commit, this value will be committed here, right? So now the value of A in database. So if you haven't studied operating system, you can assume this as a database and this as main memory, guys. So anything, if you want to work with it, you will first create a copy and work on it, guys. Then you will commit it into the database. Got it? Yes. So once I wrote this commit, it has been updated this 110 here, right? Yes. So now it has been completed its work. So it left. So now this process came and this process now wants to commit. So indirectly what it is committing now, guys, so it thinks that 20 is being committed because there is a particular property when it comes to transactions. Recall, what are the properties? Acid property. So in that property, which is the property which thinks that it is solo, that is nothing but isolation, right? So T1 thinks that it is the only process and it thinks that it is writing value 20. But when it commits, it is going to re-update the value to 101 only. So what happened here? It thinks that it updated 20, but it updated 101. Why? What is the reason? Because the major reason here is, so it executed a statement, right? But some other transaction came and wrote something on it. Because of that, we are writing something else. So this is nothing but lost update problem or write problem. So write problem. Got it? Yes. So now you understood, right? So what exactly I'm trying to say? Yes. So if there is any true write operations of different transactions on same data value, remember. So if this is writing on A and if this is writing on B, will there be any issue? No. Because of that, they are writing on same data. Here it is the issue. Between them, there is no read operation. Then the second write overwrites the first write. So that is nothing but the lost update problem. Got it? Yes. So now you are understanding, right? So what are the problems? So if you mix the transactions, so basically if these transactions are running separately, so what will be T1, guys? So T1 will be doing read, write, commit. What will be T2? Write and commit. That's it. So these two will not mix each other, right? Yes. But due to the parallelism which we are trying to achieve, that is concurrency, these two are mixing and this issue is coming, right? Yes. So now you understood about one problem, right? Yes. So now the second problem is a dirty read problem, guys. Okay, so when it comes to dirty read, so basically as we flow on, as we move on, it will be really easy for you to understand, guys. This took around 6 minutes, right? So this will take around 2 to 3 minutes because you understood the concept now, right? Yes. So read of A, write of A, read of A, commit, abort. Okay, so now let us take a small example. So let us take the same example. So the value of A is a 10. Okay, so now it read the value of A as a 10. So now this came into our main memory and now it is writing the value of A as a 20. So now it updated this value to 20. Okay, so now in between transaction 2 came and it is reading the data. Okay, so now it started reading the data and it read the data as a 20. Nice. And it left out. So committed means its whole work is done, right? So now it left the particular field. Okay, so now what has suddenly happened is a T1 understood that I want to do something else, so it has been aborted. So what will happen if it is aborted, guys? So basically it will roll back. So basically this whole thing will be lost here, right? So the value will be 10 only, right? Yes. So what exactly happened here? So assume this as assume this as a small joke thing, guys. So assume that your account balance initially was a let us keep 1 0 extra, 2 zeros extra, it will be good, right? Yes. Okay, so assume that your current account balance is 1000 rupees. So now you deposited 100 rupees, sorry, 1000 rupees again. So now your balance is 2000 rupees. So once you deposited it, so at that time only your friend started checking your account balance. So at that time it appeared to him as 2000. So he thought that, okay, so my friend is having 2000, so I'll not bring any my wallet. So they are going out, assuming that way. So at that time he thinks that, okay, he's having 2000, that will be enough money, so I'll not bring my wallet. So he thought in that way and he left. So after that, what A did is, so this first person had some error, so the whole transaction has been returned back. So basically, according to T2, how much money is T1 bringing, guys? He's bringing 2000, but in reality, he's bringing only 1000, right? Yes. So is this an issue? Yes, this is an issue because T2 has read some data which doesn't even exist, right? So in reality also T1 is not having that much money. Then how he's thinking? So that is the issue here. So this is nothing but a dirty read. So why it is happening exactly? The reason why it is happening is he read some data before the commitment of a T1. So T1 did not commit the data, right? So he did not save it permanently. That is the reason here. That is the issue here, right? Yes. So now let us go through the theory. So in this problem, so it took around 3 minutes now, right? Yes. So in this problem, the transaction reads a data item updated by another uncommitted transaction. So if you observe here also, that transaction did not commit. It was just a running. In between only this T2 came, read, and he committed and he left also, right? Yes. So this transaction may in future be aborted or failed. So that is what happened in our case. So that is the nothing but a dirty read. So the reading a transaction ends with the incorrect result. So it is going to read some data which doesn't even exist. So that's the major issue, right? Yes. So now you understood, right? So what is a write problem, and this is read problem, guys. So you are reading someone's written data, right? Yes. So now you are understanding, right? Yes. So now let us go through the third type of problem. So we are having total 4 problems, guys. So the third problem is nothing but unrepeatable read problem. Okay, so what exactly happens here is, so this is the block of code. So I think it will be better if I write, right? Because this type of explanation is giving more idea for you, right? Yes. Okay, so even I am getting some confidence with respect to these topics when I am teaching in this way, right? Yes. Okay. Yes. So read of A, write of A, read of A. Okay, so now what T1 is doing, what T2 is doing, guys, if you are having any doubts, like how I'm that much surely saying that these transactions are having issue, so run them separately, guys. So run a T1 first, then run a T2. So at that time, this will be showing only 10 rupees, sorry, 10 or 1000 rupees, right? Yes. Similarly, if you try to run these also separately, there will be no issue. Only when we are trying to run them combinedly and in this particular order, we are getting the issue, right? Yes. Okay. So now let us go through this unrepeatable read problem. Okay. So what exactly is with respect to this problem? So assume that the value of A is a 10. So now we are reading this value of A. So now this A value is brought to our main memory, and now the value of A is a 10. Okay. So you read that value as 10. Now T2 also read the value, and it also assumed that, okay, so now it is only 10 rupees. So let me deposit some money, and it deposited 50 rupees extra, or let us assume 10 rupees only again. So now the value is a 20, right? Yes. So now T1 read again. So now what T1 will read? So T1 will read this 20. So now T1 reads 20. So now T1 is completely confused. What is exactly happening here? Initially the value is a 10. After some time the value is 20. I did not do anything. So how did my account get extra money? So that's the confusion, right? So this type of thing is a nothing but unrepeated read, guys. Unrepeatable read. So it read it twice, but the values are different. So this is indirectly some kind of inconsistency, right? Because if your account is under your control only, so at that time your account balance should be remain constant, right? Yes. If someone deposited, it's okay. But if it is not that case, that will be an issue. Here, if you run them separately, so assume we run T1 first. So at that time, you get in both the cases, you will get a 10-10. And if you run T2, you're gonna end up with a 20. But there is no issue of these type of things, right? Because here, once you are getting 10 and the other time you are getting 20. So this is an issue. So this is a nothing but unrepeatable read, guys. Got it? Yes. So when a transaction tries to read a value of data item twice and another transaction updates the data item in between, then the result of the two read operations of the first transaction will differ. This is a nothing but a non-repeatable read problem. Got it? Or unrepeatable. Okay? Yes. So now I hope everyone got a clear idea with respect to this, right? Yes. And the last type of problem is nothing but a phantom read problem, guys. So this problem will be really funny. Okay. Yes. So assume, so I'll be directly explaining here only, or shall I write it? So let me write it. Why not? Right? Because these are really small and you will get more clarity, right? Yes. T2 read of A, and here we are having a special function which is a delete of A, guys. Okay. So now the value of A is a 10, right? Okay, so what exactly happened now is, so it started reading the value. So now it read the value as a 10. Okay, so now suddenly T2 came and it started its execution. So now T2, what it does is, it did delete of A, guys, directly. So it deleted A directly. So his account is gone now. So now T1 came again and he's checking. Now the item is not found indirectly, right? So it's missing somewhere. So this is a nothing but a phantom read problem, guys. So what exactly happened here? So his complete data is gone now. So now he's confused. Previously my data is available. Just after 1 minute I came and my data is gone. What exactly is going on? So this is a nothing but a phantom read. So the main reason why I'm saying that there will be a confusion. So how this balance has been increased, how this issue has been come, how this account has been deleted. The reason why I am saying he will think that because all these things are isolated, right? This T1 doesn't know T2 exists, right? This T2 doesn't know T1 exists. So that is the logic here, guys. So that is the main reason why when I explained ACID properties, I explained you in detail with examples, right? This is the main reason, because most of the students will think like, this happened, right? So that is the reason why they had been reduced. So T1 can understand it, right? So most of the students will be thinking in that way. But that's absolutely wrong, because T1 doesn't know this exists, right? Yes. So now I hope everyone is getting some idea, right, with respect to these type of problems. Okay. So the main reason why I'm discussing these problems is that we are having some explanations for these problems, guys. So whenever you want to run multiple transactions parallelly, do we want these four problems, guys? We don't want them, right? So to avoid these four problems, we are having multiple checking things. So basically, you will follow some steps while checking things, and you will decide whether it is issue, whether you will get these issues or not, and based on that you will take actions, right? Yes. So now I hope everyone got a clear idea with respect to the concurrency and the 5 problems, right? Yes. So in the next lecture we'll be discussing about the schedulers and we'll be discussing about the serial and non-serial schedulers, guys. Okay. Yes. So let us meet in the next lecture and start the discussion. Okay. Yes. So let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe for more awesome videos like this. Thank you.